Welcome, everyone. We're so glad you're here. As people are filing in, let us know in the chat where you are from. We're going to get started in about 1 minute. We just are going to give people a couple seconds to get in because I can see the numbers going up. So please let us know where you're from. I'm Jillian Castor, the Community and Advocacy Manager here at Reading Horizons. So excited to be here with my friend and colleague, Jenny Kier, talking about Alt-Cert. So I'm very pleased. Tell us where you're from in the chat. What has brought you in today? I see Cynthia from Northridge, California. And we have Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Welcome, couple Floridians with us. All right, we are going to get started. So before I give it over to Jenny, I just want to let you know, and Jenny, you can actually click to the next slide if you don't mind.
Right, yeah.
That we are going to be giving away a $20 Amazon gift card for participants today. So if you are joining us live, you will be entered. We're also going to wait a week to announce the winner. That's going to give everybody who's watching the recording a week to watch it. So one winner will be picked. They'll win a $20 Amazon gift card along with a beautiful and well-crafted tumbler from Reading Horizons. So I'm going to turn it over to Jenny now, but thank you all for being here, and go ahead, Jenny. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jillian. Okay. Hi there. I work with schools across the United States to implement a structured literacy curriculum for students age kindergarten all the way up through adults who may still be on their journey to become effective readers. But today, I want to focus on another facet of who I am. I'm a proud Alt-Cert teacher. My name is Jenny Kier, as Jillian said, and I'm an education consultant for Reading Horizons. After spending some less than rewarding time in my original field of maritime administration, I knew that I needed to come to terms with what I was born to do, and that is teaching. I enrolled in a 10-week program to prepare for an alternative certification exam in Texas. I passed the exam, I got a job, and I realized I was anything but prepared. Yes, instructors from the program came to observe me. They gave me some tips and tricks and guidance, but I needed a lot of guidance, and I needed it quickly. Where were my shortcuts to become an effective educator? Shortcuts are great, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about structured onboarding, the Buddy+System, Classroom+Prep, Turnkey curriculums, and ongoing professional learning. We use shortcuts constantly when we're behind the keyboard, and they save us a lot of time. So let's talk shortcuts to lift those Alt-Cert teachers to levels of confidence and preparedness. But who are we kidding? This applies to all new teachers. The Alt-Cert programs prepare individuals to take and pass an exam that will lead to a license. This is unfortunately less than the tip of the iceberg. For each shortcut, we're also going to talk about how to positively grow the educator into a successful new teacher. But first, let's try a 1 to 10 poll. 1 being completely unprepared and 10 being ready to rock and roll. How prepared do you feel your Alt-Cert teachers are when they come in from the program? So quickly answer that poll. If you're above a 5, give yourself a high five. That's amazing. Many times, Alt-Cert teachers, they'll come in and they have little knowledge. Some have substituted, and that's great. Some have not, and everything they know is simply theory. So Jillian is watching
I'm going to share the results with you, Jenny. And
all right. I'm anxious to see this. So
it looks like about 36% are at a 5, 29%
Amazing.
are at a 3, 7% are at a 4. Wow. It's good
Yeah.
information that you'll be
So
presenting.
we've got some low numbers. I see a couple of 8s. That's not bad at all, but most of us are kind of in the 2 to 5 area, and that's really what we want to address today. So let's keep going and talk about some of those shortcuts. This is a little freaky here, I get it. But teaching is no joke. We can all agree to that. I taught for several years in pre-K through 5th grade, but I landed most of my time in 3rd grade reading. I absolutely loved 3rd grade. I took this picture of myself when we had to evacuate for Hurricane Harvey, which was slamming into the Texas coast. This was in 2017. Sometimes you just have to smile and laugh to keep from crying in a lot of situations, including running from storms and teaching. So my hope is that today we'll provide some tips to help administrators prepare Alt-Certs for the academic year to come. And there will be more smiles than tears. Alt-Certs don't know what they don't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. So providing a plan to lessen the onboarding wait saves time and energy in the long run. Because I think about all the questions that I asked my first, second, and even into my 3rd year. How much instructional time did I waste running from one teacher to the next teacher to ask these questions? Unfortunately, I feel like I wasted my time and theirs trying to learn what I could have learned pretty quickly in the first year. All right, shortcut number 1, plan structured onboarding. Imagine getting a new job at a local burger place. You're going to receive instructions regarding kitchen appliances, cash registers, food safety, sanitary measures, all the things, and probably a lot more. I imagine In-N-Out Burger probably has a company-wide onboarding process. But here we're talking about the educational system. What is the onboarding process? Does it exist? Is it up to the new teacher to figure it out? Having a plan is everything, just paramount. So let's talk about what that looks like. Every school is a complex ecosystem with hierarchies, roles, unique languages, responsibilities. From that teacher all the way up to the school board, there are all kinds of positions. Each faculty member has a role, a list of responsibilities, and a title. So provide this information to your Alt-Certs. I had no idea what an SP was when I first started teaching, but that woman quickly became my go-to for a lot of my questions about child development. To be clear, an SP is a school psychologist. Providing Alt-Certs and new teachers with a school tour or a meet and greet will be very helpful. Perhaps you have a handout with names, roles, and faces as a guide for these rookies, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Pull out last year's yearbook. There are their names and faces and roles right there. Also, it's important to remember, don't forget your cafeteria staff, your custodians, your maintenance staff. They're often the ones with a lot of school background knowledge and the keys to everything, coming from someone who may have forgotten their classroom keys a few times. But knowing these roles and responsibilities of people around them will be very helpful. Also, according to the Harvard Business Review, organizations with a standardized onboarding process experience 62% greater new hire productivity and 50% greater new hire retention. That is huge. 62% productivity, great. And we know that teacher turnover is a real thing. So teachers who don't feel like they're a part of something, they might look elsewhere. But knowing their coworkers and feeling like they're a part of a culture that values community can influence a teacher to put down roots, and they will stay there year after year. So think about that onboarding plan. It could be the key to keeping those teachers at the school. All right, when we're creating a who's who guide for Alt-Certs, there are so many other things they need to know. So many acronyms and methodologies out there that teachers don't know. Again, alt-certs and new teachers, we just don't know what we don't know. Now, for example, Carol McAllister is our school psychologist, and her role is to identify and address learning and behavior problems that interfere with school success. This is a very high-level overview, but it helps an alt-cert such as myself to know that the school psychologist is for the students, not for me when I had a rough day. Albert Einstein said, assumptions are made and most assumptions are wrong. So we need to think about that. We can't assume that our new teachers in alt-certs know everything. I remember my very first vertical team meeting. There's another term that you could define for them. And someone said the word SPED. At the time, my only understanding was that SPED was the past tense of speed. And I was too embarrassed to ask what it meant. So it took me several weeks to figure out on my own that that was special education. Let's not leave that up to the teacher. They need to know these things. Let's quickly move on to the second shortcut. All right, that second shortcut is employing the buddy system. Everyone needs a go-to in life, right? So what makes a great mentor? Not all seasoned teachers make great mentors. Your school may have some of the best teachers of students, but that doesn't translate into them being the best teachers of teachers. Pairing isn't something to take lightly. This person could honestly make or break your new alt-cert. I had a mentor. She yelled at me once because I didn't line my students up fast enough for a fire drill. And that was pretty much our only interaction. But I didn't let her get me down, and I quickly voluntold my friend and co-teacher across the hall that she was my new mentor. It worked out. So look for teachers who are approachable. I can't say that enough. Approachable is huge. It's important because if a mentee doesn't feel like they can ask questions, then they're not going to, and the entire mentoring process is for naught. Is the mentor patient and kind? Are they a rule follower? Now, rule following, it's not about being rigid. It's not about rigidity. It's a question about responsibility. If the mentor shows up late every morning, shirks some school policies here and there, that's passing the same thing on to the newbie, and that's not good. All right. And finally, guide the guide. That's important. Even the mentor is going to need some direction. Choosing a mentor is great, but they need to understand how to be an effective mentor. Create a short but explicit plan for what you want them to accomplish or assist with. This could be as easy as a checklist or some check boxes that they can make sure they go over. And the mentor will need to know what's expected of them. So don't forget to provide that. And finally, there are some great personality assessments online. And those are important because you want to maximize growth while keeping personalities in mind, top of mind. So these personality assessments online, a lot of them are free. You can just go grab them and use them to pair mentors and mentees together by things they have in common or by how they could complement one another. This circle that you're seeing up here with the blue, yellow, red, and green is actually my own personality test, and the red is social. So I have a lot of social in me. I want to talk, I want to ask people questions, and then the green explains that I like structure. I need to know what's expected of me and how we're going to execute our plans. Blue is analytical. I'm not so much into analyzing all the things. And then yellow is conceptual. That's not a huge point for me either. But regardless of the assessment you use, these quick questionnaires can help pair up individuals and see how well they will work together. On to shortcut number 3. Shortcut number 3 is classroom prep. We have to prep that classroom. And Unbeknownst to many teachers, classroom prep goes far beyond decor. All right. Safety first and foremost. Envision the classroom with every desk occupied. Take time, or you can put this on the mentors list to take time to do. Take a classroom tour. Yes, it's one room, but so many things are going to happen in that room and they need to happen safely. You need to make sure that there's room for evacuation. Is there room for students to duck and cover? Is there room for traffic flow to and from desks? Is there enough room for students to pass one another between rows? Or is it a one-lane highway? How are the materials? What are the logistics of your pencils, your pencil sharpener, your glue, whatever your students may need? Is everything accessible? Is it going to be in close proximity to another student if several new students need something? Even the teacher desk, where is the teacher desk going to go? Is it in a spot where students can easily flow around it? Lots of things to think about when you are first prepping that classroom, but remember to prep it with the idea of every desk full. Okay, something that's very important is that the most valuable real estate in the classroom is in the line of sight of your students when they're sitting at those desks. The most important visuals need to be front and center. If you're teaching reading, for instance, or if you're teaching reading, sound walls, posters that reference phonics skills, etc., they need to be in front of the student's line of sight. So possibly right there in the front of the classroom, because they are going to reference that over and over again. They're going to lean in, they're going to look at it. Some things that are concepts that are less demanding, you could put on the sides on bulletin boards or on your back bulletin boards, but anything, regardless of what you're teaching, those paramount skills need to be front and center for your students to see it. So encourage individuality of the teacher, but have them keep perspective and help them keep perspective. This is a photo of my actual door in in my classroom one year. You can see the Mrs. Kier at the top, my little curtain that I made to try to make it welcoming. But oh my gosh, what is happening over here on the side? You can kind of tell that I had a vision of neatness. But every December, the mischievous elf, Ginger Snap, would come and destroy a classroom. And guess who got hit that December? My students were so excited. But look what he did to my classroom. What you can't see is my little elf on my back table. Maybe you can see him. He's really tiny. He's duct taped to my table. So that elf, extremely mischievous, can ruin a classroom. But I'm digressing. A very large percentage of educators love neatness and perfection in their daily lives, especially educators of elementary school students. This can translate into time spent trying to create the perfect classroom, which does not exist. Encourage the educator to make the classroom their own, but also keep students and their educational journey top of mind. That is the most important. The most beautifully laid out Pinterest perfect classroom does not translate to students flawlessly mastering the concepts of biology or honors English, second grade math, or world history. It doesn't. It can be beautiful, but the role of an educator is to teach a subject or several subjects to students and teach it to mastery. This is a non-negotiable and must be communicated early on. It's absolutely wonderful to have a beautiful, calm, and safe classroom, but it is also a place that must serve an important purpose in the lives of students. All right, number 4, provide turnkey curriculums as well as you can. This is huge because if an educator needs a PhD in adolescent brain development to understand and implement a curriculum, might not be the right fit. Even with professional learning, some programs are just difficult to follow because the educator is left with, well, I get it, but I don't know how to explain it to them. So what can we do? We can stick to the script, okay? Over here on your right, you'll see that a script comes in handy. A script can save the day. The script says, here's what you say, here's what you do, here's how you assess, here's how you collect and review data. All for that new Alt-Cert or new teacher. Even seasoned teachers could use this. Remember that script is wonderful, but it also needs to be science-backed and proven effective. Scripted programs, now more than ever, are the way to go. So I was not taught how to lesson plan in my Alt-Cert program. I had no clue what teaching a lesson would even look like if I were to design it. So many times I had programs where the script absolutely saved me. And it can really help with your new teachers as well. Okay, we're already on our final shortcut number 5. Okay, educate and invest. Very important. I'm gonna ask you a question. Have you ever been to a doctor? That's a silly question, I know. Here's another silly question. Do you prefer medical professionals who stay up to date, complete their continuing education hours, and never stop learning about life-saving procedures? Or do you want that doctor who stopped learning decades ago? Now, I know you want the up-to-date doc, right? Absolutely. So avoid the domino effect. If educators aren't adequately trained on instructional materials, student progress is really going to suffer. Just as an untrained doctor could have a negative effect on a patient, an untrained educator can easily have the same effect on a student or no effect at all. And that is just not good. This is why we must educate and invest in our teachers. I get it that it's sometimes expensive, or we could probably say all the time, it's expensive to purchase that professional learning and coaching from programs and make sure your teachers are up to date with that professional development. But I promise you, if you invest in those ways, your teachers will perform at higher levels. They'll increase their confidence in teaching. So skimping on professional learning has its biggest effect on students. Again, it's that domino effect. The cost is high though, both literally and figuratively, but it doesn't have to be. So here are some quick tips or shortcuts for that. You can invest in Alt-Cert teachers using resources at your fingertips. During conference times or PLCs, there's another acronym, professional learning community, bring in the special education teacher to explain IEPs, individualized education program, how to read them, how to follow them. That is so important. And there is someone who can come in and educate your new teachers, and it's not going to cost you a dime. All right, perhaps you bring in the behavior specialist for another PLC or a conference period, and they discuss de-escalation techniques and best practices for students experiencing emotional trauma. These experts are all around you, and you should probably take advantage of their knowledge and spread it through the team. That's not going to cost you anything, and they're right there for you. They will help build that confidence of those new teachers. And a great cadence that you could have would be maybe a specialized department each month would come in and those PLCs or conference times, and especially work with those alt-certified teachers who may be like me and only think that SPED is the past tense of speed. All right, we did it. We talked about 5 shortcuts. Let's do a quick summarization of what they were and where those shortcuts lead. Just like the old Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V will help us copy and paste, let's talk about what our shortcuts can do to support our Alt-Cert educators. Okay, so first we have structured onboarding. That shortcut leads to supported educators who know where to go. All right, our second shortcut, the Buddy system. That will lead to growing relationships that build on your district's preferred principles. That's huge. Let's keep everyone on that same page. Number 3, shortcut 3, prepped classrooms. That shortcut's going to equal safe, well-oiled, effective classrooms. Shortcut number 4, turnkey curriculums. That shortcut equals ready to go instructions. The teacher can just get in there, read, do the thing, and get those students to mastery. And our final one, investing in Alt-Cert teachers. That's going to create confident and prepared educators. There's nothing like investing and educating in our teachers, and they're that primary person in a student's life. So what better thing to invest in? All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have some great takeaways to implement this August when school rolls back around. From one educator to another, I want to thank you for all you endure and for how much you care. It just means so much. I'm going to turn it over to Jillian because we have a giveaway.
Thank you so much, Jenny. That was awesome. And I'm so glad that you are still here, everybody on, because I want to let you know that as soon as this webinar ends, you're going to be automatically brought to the Alt-Cert guide. So all the resources that we shared have been already captured for you. So we encourage you to check that out, to share it, and please also share the recording so that your colleagues can also get a chance to win the Reading Horizons mug and the $20 Amazon gift card. We're going to do that drawing in a week to give everybody a chance. Also, just be on the lookout for an email. I can't remember if I said this or not, but we will be emailing you too with the recording, so you can share that. All right, we can go to the next slide. This is how you can get the guide if you're watching the recording. But other than that, you will just automatically brought there when you end this, when we end this or when you leave. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you again, Jenny, for all the good information. We hope you have a great day and a great 4th of July next week. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.